Welcome to the Ports and Shipping News from Visakhapatnam. APSEZ faced the heat of a restrictive clause excluded from port tenders. Adani Ports Special Economic Zone Limited (APSEZ) is rolling after state-owned Jawaharlal Nehru Port Authority disqualified it from a tender to privatize the container handling terminal, citing a key tender clause that is being renowned as a penalizing and restrictive. It comes on the after the APSEZ returned a coal handling terminal at Visakhapatnam Port Authority a few years into the 30 years contract in December 2020. The coal terminal deals of APSEZ at Visakhapatnam Port crumbled after the Indian government changed its policy to endorse the use of domestic coal, cutting imports of the commodity and leading a drastic plunge in volume at the terminal. Previously handled only imported steam and thermal coal. Visakhapatnam Port excluded APSEZ from the mechanization of West Queue berths 7 and 8 at the ports of Visakhapatnam and the private funds, citing that same tender conditions. The authority also communicated the details of termination to other state-owned ports. Tender conditions. JPA cited the premature termination of the coal terminal deals involving the APSEZ in Visakhapatnam Port without mentioning it. This decision was taken abiding the clause 2.2.8 after the tender conditions that states an applicant, including any consumer member or associate, should have neither failed to perform any contract as evidenced by the imposing of a penalty by an arbitral or a judicial authority or a pronouncement or arbitration award against the applicant, consumer members or associate, as the case may be, nor been expelled from any project or contract by any public entity, nor have had any contract terminated by any public entity for breach of such applicant, consumer members or associate. In a simple words, an applicant is considered disqualified if a public entity terminates any of its contract from breach of terms in the last 3 years. Not only JNPT and Visakhapatnam Port but Paradip Port Authority, Odisha, also disqualified APSEZ from a tender to build a 25 million tons capacity dry bulk cargo terminal in March 2022. APSEZ also appealed to the Odisha High Court. The court allowed the firm to put a price bid but also put the onus of the final judgment of the outcome of the appeal filed by APSEZ in Andhra Pradesh High Court. In April 2022, APSEZ refrained for placing a price bid and saved itself from another embarrassment after Vivo Chidambaranath Port Authority, Tamil Nadu, contemplated excluding APSEZ from a tender to convert a dry bulk into a container terminal. Spotlights on clauses 2.2.8. Dr. Asha Pillai, a maritime consultant from Kochi, who agreed that the clause is restrictive indeed. The mentioned clause acts as a check on their trump, holding them back from monopolizing the port sector completely. However, there is no doubt that APSEZ will continue to reign the Indian port sector. As of now, it is India's largest port and integrated logistics company with deep internal presence in 13 domestic ports in 7 maritime states, continuously improving its operation performance, said Dr. Pillai. Legal enthusiasts in the maritime sector believe that clause 2.2.8 is flawed and that the existing government policy restricting an operator to handle only one commodity for 30 years period is also restrictive and penalizing. Timeline. The Andhra Pradesh High Court rejected the petition filed by APSEZ on March 3rd that sought to overturn the disqualification from the tender issued by the Visakhapatnam Port, following which APSEZ appealed against the order on 3rd March of the Andhra Pradesh High Court, for which the appeal is yet to be decided. APSEZ is trying to prove that it was the first to terminate the contract to avoid the disqualification. JNPT thought was not convinced by this argument put forth by APSEZ during the personal hearing. However, Visakhapatnam Port Authority told the court that it's already had issued a consultation notice, deemed termination as the next step is the termination to the Adani Vizag Coal Terminal Private Limited. On 3rd October 2020, the notice cited that the Adani Coal Terminal Private Limited failed to comply with the constipulated minimum guarantee cargo (MGC) clause that the main ground for termination of the contract. While the APSEZ returned the coal handling terminal to Visakhapatnam Port Authority, the port had to pay 21 million US dollars as per the interim order for three-member arbitration tribunal. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.